Welcome to a short video on a time asset example. This particular one is going to cover best execution testing. Hi, I'm Jim Koch, the founder and principal of Koch Capital. Before we get started, please review these brief presentation disclosure. You can pause the video and just please take a look through and then we'll continue. Okay, for this demo, we're going to do a classic time asset. And what we mean by that is any type of procedure or tool that is low cost, easy to implement, and gives you a substantial return on investment. In this particular one, we're using Google Apps, which we kind of treat, at least in our firm, as kind of the Swiss Army knife tool. We use it for a lot of different applications. We use a lot of other tools too, but this particular one is an example of how we're using Google Apps for an internal trade operations. So let me show you what we're doing here. Okay, so I've switched over to our test trade blotter. So our actual firm has to have, track all the trades it does for our clients. This particular trade blotter is implemented on Google Sheets. So what we're going to do is in any given quarter, advisors need to basically check how was their trading performed. They got to look at all their trades, come up with a method to kind of go in and test and see, did I have any trade errors? Were any trades out of the range of what that particular security traded within that day? So, and it could be very time consuming, which is why we developed this. So one thing you can do is say, for example, and these are data. I've got this, obviously this is a fictitious, but say for example, I want to look at this block of trades within the second quarter of 2014. I'll just say that I'm using current prices, so it is going to pull out some mismatches. Well, one of the nice tools that Google has is Google Scripts, which allows you to kind of tailor or customize the browser environment. And here I've created a bunch of different tools that we use, especially around managing the trade blotter. But again, every month we need to do a best execution test, and this can be very time consuming if you're doing it by hand. So here's a little script that's actually going to sample this particular group of trades and then kick out an entry to tell me, okay, so it's finished. I'm going to go over to one that I just did previously to show you what it does. It creates a second Google spreadsheet with the date and time of when it executed. And what it does, it took that sample, took a 5% sample of what that pulled out this particular entry, noted that this particular trade was at that particular price on that day back in 2014. And then what I can do is I also provide, and it hasn't kicked in yet, I can provide the high, low, open, and close. Let me refresh so I can get those values in there. Okay, so then here now we've got the high, low, open, and close for that particular security on that day, and we can see that the price doesn't match this. So this would actually kick out that we've got a potential trade error that we need to investigate. So remember, I'm using current prices I'm using current prices for the check against a 2014 trade amount, so they should be out of whack. So basically, I only did that for about 20 trades, but if you have 500,000 trades in a quarter, it's real handy to be able to sample 5% of them and do this, and you can do this. Since this used to take me an hour or so to do this every quarter, now I can just run it multiple times and just do a couple of trades and see what, or best execution runs and see what it pulls out. So this particular one, it pulled out Betty Rubble on the VTI ticker. Let me just go on over here, and I'm sure again it's going to be out of whack because this is an old price. And there, yeah, so now I'm showing the high, low, and noting it that, hey, this is out of the range. Let's go take a look. So most of the time you're fine, but it's a good way to automate, something that an advisor needs to do for compliance. Really saves a lot of time. So again, I think that's a classic example of a time asset. And let's look at the results on this. So it took me probably about 3 hours to develop and test this. I use this tool now all the time. I've been using it for the past year. It's worked great. On average, it saves me about an hour per quarter, but there's other benefits too. It helps improve your trade error reporting, which is, again, very important to the regulators, and you have a complete audit trail And you can also demonstrate that you're on top of this because you're running this, more than their minimum required, just sample 5% or whatever the amount is, on a quarterly basis. You can run this multiple times. So this is a classic example of what we call a time asset using the Google Apps platform. If you want more information about this and some of the other tools, please feel free to contact me or visit my productivityassist.blog or my website and let me know what you think. Thank you for your time, and just be aware that I did have to use some third-party resources, especially Google Finance, which I can't guarantee that the accuracy of those results, but I just need to alert you. Again, thank you for your time. Hope you found this interesting.